So, Sandra from Botswana, you're welcome. Yes, Divine. Fumi Ajayi from Ikorodu, Lagos, you're welcome. Keep it coming in. Let's meet you. Let us meet you. Like to meet you. It's a good day wherever you're joining us from. Your name and where you're joining us from. Your name and where you are joining us from. I can see 34 people on this call. I can see 34 people on this call. Okay, Raphael from Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, Pastor Ivor. Sorry if I murder your name. Sorry. Oyilola Roots from Nigeria. Okay, Manso from Sierra Leone. You are welcome. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. We are now 36 on the call. Tomisi from Nigeria, Adigun from Ibadan, Olajide Roots from Lagos, Afolayan Olubumi from Nigeria, Blessing from Delta, Quinta from Cameroon, all right, Joy from Ondo State. All right, we have different people from different states, from different parts of the world on this call. Yes, Joy from Ondo, Treasure from Ogun, Aderogba Onyidamola from Nigeria. All right.
Recording in progress.
You're welcome. You are most welcome. All right, I'd like to encourage you to avoid any form of distraction. You have made a good choice to be here. So take away every form of grace from Lokoja, you're welcome. So take away every form of distraction, because this is a webinar that is going to open your eyes. I am sure of that. Keep it coming. Where are you joining us from? Where are you? Akinola Finset from Lagos State. You are welcome. All right. You are highly welcome. So as I was saying, please take away every form of distraction. This is a webinar that is going to change your life. Just like you, I was once on this webinar. Yes, and here I am. I can say that you have made the bold step to be on this call tonight. And trust me, you won't leave this call the same way you have come. So before we proceed, let's while we expect others to join us, we are now 45. I expect that will be more than this. So while we sit and settle, let's just have a cool music. Let's just have a fun. Let's shake our body. Just for some time while we expect other people to join this call. All right. Sorry, if you don't believe in the music, the lyrics, just see it as a music you can enjoy. So let's dance a bit while we settle for others to join us. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, someone is saying I can't hear a thing. Please confirm if you can hear me. Please confirm if you can hear me. Please confirm if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Say yes, I can hear you. Yes, can you hear me or you can't hear me before we proceed? Okay, 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 okay. Okay, thank you. All right, so before we move on, I'd like to invite two people to give their testimony before we call on the main speaker for tonight's webinar. So I'd like to call Pastor Abiola Akinyelu. Please, Pastor Akinola Abiola, we are here. We are here. You have your floor now. Kindly have your presentation. Okay, thank you. Thank you for telling me you can hear me. Pastor Abiola, you have the floor. Pastor Abiola, admin. The audio is too low. All right, I've increased my audio. I hope you can hear me more now. Please is okay. While Pastor Abiola gets settled, I think is not readily available. Can we have Doreen speak right now? Can we have Ayodele to have his our presentation?
Good evening, everyone.
All right, good evening.
Yeah. So, my name is Doreen, and I was a part of the last cohort of the parenting coaching certification. And I just want to share a brief testimonial of how it went with you all. So, first of all, I used to think I was a good parent, actually. I think I'm an intentional parent. There are so many things that I do with my children that people feel like, oh, that's too extra. Oh, so I used to think I was really intentional. But when I joined the parenting coaching certification class, I realized there was so much more I could do. And the first class with PF, I always share this with everyone I go. The first class with PF, he was like, in his house, children do not finish eating. He tells his children that you have not finished eating until you've washed your plates. Immediately I heard that, I started implementing it. For my children, for example, yesterday they went swimming, and when they got back, I had shared this with my husband. So when they got back from swimming, I heard my husband telling my child that my two children that you've not finished swimming until you've air dried your swimming clothes and towels. And I just smiled. And in my head, I was thinking, this the only reason we can have this kind of conversation with the children is because I registered for the parenting coaching certification. Then beyond my personal life with my children, one of the things I wanted to do before I saw the webinar, just like you're attending the webinar today, I was looking for a soul healing coach, something like that. Like I just felt something happened in my childhood that I don't know, but I just felt, we would want to heal from certain level of trauma and all. And I had reached out to a coach, a soul emotions coach, and then I just didn't feel like this was the right person. So coming to the parenting coaching course, I thought I was coming for parenting to learn how to parent my children and also help my community because I run a Christian community for children. But what I realized was the module 2 was on healing the inner child. And it was so amazing because everything I was looking for, things I didn't even know that I had hidden or that were hidden as trauma from my childhood, I saw myself unpacking them and receiving that level of healing to the extent that my husband was like, "Oh, I'm so grateful that you registered for this course." And at this point, even though we've graduated, I've gone back to the videos with my husband and we are watching each module every week to just bring us together at the same speed. As a practice, I found myself saying that, okay, I'm at the point where I said, I've gone through this course. I need to restructure. I need to make sure that I bring value to the children. So I would say that the parenting coaching course has helped me as an individual, as a parent, and also as a parenting coach. So thank you to IFED, thank you to PF and our coaches, Coach Desola, Coach Amina, and Coach Miracle. The 12 months were amazing, I would say. And I wish you guys all the best. Thank you so much.
All right. That's so amazing. Yes, that is. See, she has just summarized your experience, what you should expect from IFED. All right, Pastor Abiola is available now. Pastor Abiola, can you please come up with your presentation, please? You're welcome, sir.
All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening,
Oh, good
family.
evening.
Um, in fact, just like Coach Doreen mentioned, it was a thrilling experience for me personally, and our experiences were mutual, mutual, and it was a thrilling experience for me because, of course, I was looking out for more. First, I'll start on how I met PF. I saw one of his video when he was talking about the having the effective family structure, and I felt like, I feel like this is what I'm looking for. So from there, I started following on, and of course on Instagram. And when I saw the ad, I was like, hey, let me go for it. Even though at that time it wasn't even financially convenient, but it was something that I needed. It was something that my family needed, my home needed. So I started the class, and starting from the one that really the icebreaker, I think, of all the session, just like Kudori mentioned, well, for me was healing the inner child, because I saw reasons why my kids behave the way they were behaving. I thought I was even coming to come and learn so that I can be teaching others, but I was the first point of call. So I had to learn for myself. I had to, throw away some baggages. It was really a whole lot. After a while, just like Kodori mentioned, my husband had to join me in the listening to the class, because as I'm listening to it everywhere. I'm a very busy person. So every opportunity I have, I'm in driving, I'm at home, I'm doing dinner, I'm doing everything. I am listening to the class everywhere, such that he knows all my lecturers, all my coaches. So starting from Coach Miracle, Coach Aminat, and Coach Desala, which is my husband's friend, from the certification course. It was a beautiful experience for me, healing the inner child, the tree of life, the jar of life. I mean, I saw where I was. It was like, when, sorry if you're not a Christian, but hey, this is where I am. When the Bible says that the word of God is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path, yes, it showed me where I am and how to get to where I'm going to. And I will even say that I'm there yet. I'm making progress, and I'm still moving. Then, of course, when we went to emotion coaching. Then when we move to um, understanding, when we move to the understanding your child's personality assessment, that was another ball game. You know how you can have a child that is, let me borrow the word, restless. I am wondering, why is this child everywhere? Why and why and why and why and why? That's just the person's personality. Of course, that doesn't mean we're going to stay there, but we can leverage on our strengths to move. So a lot of things stopped for me, yelling, shouting. Of course, I'd already started working on that, and I saw every reason why I didn't have to yell at my children, or why I didn't have to yell. Why we can, because if we have structures, you won't have to yell if you have structures, if you have strategies to help you move from one point to the other. So the class for me was a total game changer. If you are here, I want you to fasten your seat belts. If you're on the journey of this course, it's going to take your sleepless night, I can guarantee you, because you would look inwards and you will visit memory lane. It will take you to visit memory lane and how you can make the right kind of decision to come out and be able to help others. So fasten your seatbelt. You are in good hands. You are going to learn. Just like Coach Doreen mentioned, I'm still going back to the video. I'm still listening to it over and over. Then, of course, in writing assessments and reports, when we first started, I'm sure Coach Doreen will bear witness. When we first started, we thought we're taking the ice cream and everything was looking all yummy, yummy. But when the real tax started, when it started, we're like, hey, this is what we signed up for. But it paid off. You're going to work hard. You're going to, it's a 12 weeks course, but it's going to look like a 12-month course because it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. Some of you would definitely remember this thing that I'm saying to you now because it's a turning point for you. And just in case you're going to be taking this class and you just think, oh, it's something I'm going to listen to, you will need a journal, you will need your writing material, you will need every tool to be able to capture, even everything, every of your paying attention, how the coaches are responding to you, how they are responding to the how they are teaching. Those were part of the things that I learned, their teaching style, and of course the way they deliver the lecture. It's really, really been amazing. So I want to encourage you, if you are here today, make up your mind that you are going to get the best out of this class. You are going to heal, first of all, so that you don't bleed on the people that don't cut you. That is where you're going to start from. And I trust that at the end of the day, you are going to wave that banner up very, very high and excited as you translate into an associate parenting coach. I'd like to say a very big thank you to Coach PF. I mean, we've never met, but the access I have to you is really amazing. I also remember when I had to facilitate a course somewhere, and Coach PF, I just buzzed him in the morning. I think it was morning my time, and in the middle of the night, he responded and he was like, "Don't worry, you got it, you can do it." That was just all for me. And I got up the platform, the podium. I was able to deliver. And from the classes on IFED, when we're done, even before we finished, I'd already started an academy for wives. I saw more reasons why I needed to reach out to families. I needed to reach out to wives. I saw more reasons, which the community is blooming. Over 400 people in the community. My husband too started a community to reach out to men, to reach out to husbands, and the community is booming. Like, people are coming in, we're able to answer questions, we're able to help them navigate. So this is just your starting point. And I know I can see Coach D. Hello, Coach D. I love you guys, Coach D. Thank you so much. I want to say that you guys, you are in good hands and you are going to have a sweet, sweet, sweet ride. Thank you very much, admin. Thank you, IFED. Thank you, Coach D. Thank you so much, everybody. Over to you, Mrs. Ayola.
All right. Thank you, Pastor. I was expecting Iman. I was surprised when I. Thank you so much for the amazing review. You have just said it all. Yes, you have just said it all. All right. While we expect our dear Coach Desola, I like few people to go into the comment section and tell us your expectation. What are you expecting? You have heard two people testifying. What is it? What expectation are you bringing to this webinar? Please go into the comment section and let us hear you. Coach Desola, good to see you again. Coach Desola, when I grow up, I want to be like, one thing I love about you, the way you speak. Each time I watch the replay, when will I be able to speak like Coach Desola?
Good evening.
Nice having you again. Please join me as we welcome our dear coach Desola. You're going to enjoy tonight. Trust me, you will. All right, you're welcome. I have the floor.
Thank you so much, Coach Ayoluwa. Hello, everybody. Mommy Shark, do you want to go out and come back in again? Because I think this not being able to hear us is localized. All right. If you want to go out and come back in again so that you can pick up the audio. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Well done, Coach Ayoluwa. Thank you so much for the work that you have done and gone ahead. And it's lovely to see Coach Doreen and Pastor B, my people. It is lovely to see you all. Thank you. Thank you for all the work that you're doing. And it's brilliant to be in your midst today. Every single person on the call. I'm seeing a few expectations in the chat, and you're in the right place, right? Sandra says she's a mother and a Sunday school teacher, and she wants to become a better parent to all the children around her. And I think that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Sometimes we tend to think of ourselves alone, but Sandra is thinking about all the children that come in contact with her. And I think that's amazing. Mommy Shark, let's know when you're back in the room. I'm just hanging back a little so that you can start with us. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Wandile wants to broaden their parenting horizon. Oluwaseun wants to learn, unlearn, and relearn parenting. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mommy Shark. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm not sure what's going on there. I do apologize. Yes, the recording should be available. Admin, if you want to double check that for me, the recording should be available on the YouTube channel. But admin, please double check and all right. So that's confirmation for you. All right. You want to learn about, yes, you're going to learn about it. Okay. Natasha, you're going to learn about it. You're in Cape Town and your learner for life parenting is your niche, and that is amazing. Okay, yes, parenting coach from Uganda, a preschool teacher, fantastic, and you're looking forward to learning how to grow big and reach more parents. You also want to monetize. You're in the right place. Okay, you're in the right place. Fantastic. Well, it's lovely to be here. It is lovely to be here. I am always excited to speak with parents, especially now that I coach parenting coaches, right? It is fantastic that you have decided to take this on. And like Pastor B said, you come into something like this and you think, oh, like someone said in the chat, I want to monetize, I want to reach more parents. And you find that you point the shining light on yourself first. Okay, because what you don't have, you will find difficult to give. That authenticity won't come through. So you're going to internalize what you're going to learn here, and then you will then take it outside into the big wide world. Okay, and the future is counting on you delivering on that assignment. Oluwamaya, you are in the right place. You are in the right place. The fact that you're taking the time to attend something like this gives me confidence, okay, that you will be all right, your children will be all right, okay, and that the future is secure. So well done to every parent here, everybody showing up for their children, doing that hard work when you're tired, when you're strong, showing up every day, paying attention, opening up your hearts to learning. I salute you. Okay, I salute you. And today we will be talking about becoming a parenting coach. Specifically, this program is tagged the Parenting Coaching Accelerator. All right, if you can see my screen, can you give me a thumbs up, please? So I can know it's sharing okay. If you can see my screen, just give me a fantastic one thumbs up. Okay, they're coming. All right, awesome. Awesome. Zoom is doing what Zoom is supposed to do. It is amazing to be here. I am so excited for what we're going to be sharing today, and particularly excited as well for the opportunity you're going to have at the end. So walk with me, stay with me, pay close attention. Coach Ayolua already said remove distractions. So switch off that phone. Let people know that you're about to dig in. All right, we're getting into the business. If you need to grab a drink, do that now, right? While we get along with the program. So 3 things that you would have gained at the end of this class. 3 things. The first one is that you would have gained clarity about the problems parents are facing. Remember, this is a parenting coaching certification accelerator. So you do need to know what the problem is. That's the first step. You'll be able to identify the typical problems parents are facing today. Then you would understand why parenting coaches are now a major need. Years ago, it wasn't a thing. In fact, some people would say, oh, why do you need to learn parenting? Forgetting that it's a skill like any other skill. Okay. And the fact that you've been parented does not mean you know how to then parent. It does not mean you have the resources to then parent. A few of us have talked about that healing journey, that inner child healing. A lot of people come away from their parenting experiences damaged and broken. Okay. And if you carry that into your own parenting, you're just going to repeat that cycle. Even though you didn't like it when you were going through it, you're going to repeat the cycle because that's all you have to work with. But look at you all looking to break that cycle today, learning something new, interrogating the need to identify those problems, and then take on the responsibility of becoming a parenting coach yourself. And finally, you would have gained the practical steps to becoming an exceptional parenting coach, because it's not just native intelligence here, it is science. Okay, it is the study of behavior and results that are backed by science. That way you can replicate them over and over and over again. So like we said, find a quiet spot, ensure the TV is off, you're not on social media, we're going in. All right, we're going in. Now, if you have not already, can you please change the name on your device to your name, including any title that you'd like me to address you with? Okay, because what I see on there is what I'm going to call you. Okay, so if there's any, if you, sometimes we see phones, we see Samsung S25. I will not want to address you as Samsung S25. So if you can just put your name on there for me so I can address you properly. Thank you so very much. So let's start with a bit of a story. All right, let's start with a bit of a story. My journey as a parenting coach. To be honest, I didn't have one of those pleasant parenting experiences myself. Growing up was challenging. And I recently wrote a book, Becoming an Ocean, and in that book, I talked about having grown up in an aquarium. Okay, having grown up in a murky, dark aquarium. Okay, it wasn't the most pleasant. My parents had their own challenges and struggles in the marriage, and it spilled over to myself and my brothers as the children. But one thing that I came away with, even as a young girl, when I left the phase of saying I'm never going to marry, because that was the first reaction, it was that I'm not going to do this because of what I saw. But by the time I started to accept the idea that I might be interested in getting married, the next phase was me making a conscious decision to say, I'm not going to do what my parents did. Now, it wasn't because I knew what I was going to do. It was just like, we can't repeat that. That ends with me. And because I made that decision, I then went on a journey of discovery and exploration and asking questions and reading books. And I carried on with that search informally until I came in contact with the Institute of Family Education and Development. Okay. And when I did, it was like a switch was flipped. I took all the courses, went through everything that I could, all the learning I could do, and I let that learning propel me to action. And that's when things began to change. And as I learned, as I became better, as I became, more aware of myself and realizing that I had capacity in this area, I then began to support parents. Okay, so I have parents all around the world who I'm their first contact if they have issues with their children. I just get a text, I get a phone call. Obviously, because we have a coaching structure, that is out of the ordinary, but it's usually, I'm going to book a session tomorrow. We need to talk. And then, I'm there for them, supporting them. And moving on from there, I am now supporting your people such as yourselves to become parenting coaches, impacting the world, sorting out those parenting problems that we're going to be looking at shortly. Okay, so that's a bit of my journey. That's a bit of my story as a parenting coach. And we all have our own stories. We all have our own journeys. But everything that we've been through up until now, they come together to make us who we are today. So in the bid to reframe and to heal from our trauma, we need to accept and own it. Those things were blips in our story. Some of the things that happened to us as children, we had no control over. Where things then need to change is now that we are adults, we can then take all of that, use it as fuel, and then move forward to support, in this instance, parents such as ourselves. Okay, so that is a bit of my story as a parenting coach, and I hope or I imagine, let me know, that it resonates with a few of us. The greatest battle in the world is the battle of parenting. And why do we say that? It is because the family is the production engine of society. Every single person that you come across has come from a family. Now, if they're a positive addition to the community or a positive influence in the life of somebody, or they're running a multinational business that is providing jobs and solving problems on a global scale, they have come from a family. On the flip side, if your interaction with somebody leaves a poor taste in your mouth, all right, and they say something that, can serve as a trigger or annoy you, or maybe they've done something as grand as affecting a whole country or a whole community negatively, they have as well come from a family. So it becomes a battle. Human beings who are wholesome, kind, compassionate, solution providers, secure individuals going to be delivered to society? Or will it be the flip side of insecure, unkind, disrespectful, damaging, catastrophic, if you will, individuals who have no regard for anything or anybody, who would have access to the resources that are meant for a community and appropriate those resources to themselves? In fact, you hear about people in government who have the budget of a hospital, and they manage to take that money and keep it for themselves rather than providing the required healthcare for an entire community. That is the question before us today, and that is why it is a battle. Who are we delivering to society? Who are parents delivering to society? It is either they're adding value or they're taking value away. And as we probably have alluded to, that is where we come in as parenting coaches. What are we going to support parents to deliver to society? All right. Are we still together? Can I just see a few thumbs up in the chat? Let me just make sure we're still together. Thumbs up if I still have your attention. Do I still have your attention? Yes, brilliant. Brilliant. I'm just making sure that we are still together. Fantastic. So I will go back to my slides. Now, what then must happen? What then must happen? Because we need to understand who a parent is. We've said the biggest challenge is parenting. So who is a parent? Who is a parent, and what is a parent? What does a parent exist to do? Now, we have defined the ultimate parent as a skilled systems owner that is able to spot the identity of the arrow in his quiver and intentionally groom and shoot that arrow in the direction of a predetermined target in a way that the arrow consistently solves the problem it was designed to solve in service to God and humanity. It is a mouthful. So we're going to narrow that entire description and definition to 3 key things that the ultimate parent is supposed to do. That is why they exist. That is why when a child is born, under normal circumstances, they are in care of the parent. In some cases, say life events occur, the child might be with a caregiver, but in that instance, that caregiver takes that parenting role in the life of that child. So 3 things: discovery, develop, and deploy. Discover, develop, and deploy. Those are the 3 things that the ultimate parent should be able to do. Discover potential, develop potential, and deploy potential. That deployment is very key because every child is born for a reason. So if a parent has the mindset from the outset that this child exists for a reason, the potential that is inside of this child exists for a reason, there is a purpose for which this child has been born, for a reason, for a purpose for which this child has been sent, then working from the answer back to the question, they will take that responsibility of discovery and deployment and development very seriously. Because if those 2 steps are skipped or are missed or are not done properly, then that deployment becomes inadequate. And that's why in the previous slide, I talked to us about the kind of people that are being delivered to society. Say, for instance, a child is born with the cure for, let's look for a really aggressive cancer, the cure for skin cancer. It's not very aggressive, but it's the one that comes to mind. Say a child is born with the cure for skin cancer, all right, in their minds. They have been loaded with that capacity. That is the reason for which the child has been born. That is what the child will be deployed to do should the first 2 steps go according to plan. Now, if this child is born into a family, then that parent takes on that responsibility to discover that potential. Now, it won't look like the cure for cancer, but it might look like a child who has a certain inclination towards biology. Say they just have a certain curiosity towards how medications work and how things link together in the human body. All right. And then the parent recognizing this inclination then takes that child through a process of development, of refining that raw potential. Okay. And then they send the child to the best of schools, ensure the child has a university education, ensure the child has capacity to ask questions and query things and say, this is status quo, but what if we tried it a certain way? All of that is working towards deploying that child in the direction of the problem that they were born to solve. So it is absolutely critical that the parent understands how to discover, develop, and deploy the child. So, what are the 4 issues that modern day parents face? And that's something that you will be supporting parents with as a parenting coach. All right. Bearing in mind that you will internalize what you're learning, deploy it in your own home, in your own lives, and then you can take it out. So, what are those 4 critical issues that if they are not addressed, there will be chaos? A chaotic world is only waiting to happen if these 4 critical issues are not addressed. Number 1, because of the age that we're in, and the children are very lucky, they live in a digital age. I think back to when I was a child and how now I grew up in Nigeria, and when on a typical school day, the TV comes on at 4 o'clock. Okay, so as a child, what you needed to do was get back from school, get your homework done, do chores if you had any, and be available to watch TV at 4 o'clock. Okay, that was how I grew up. Now the children of today have access to entertainment at the press of a button, at the push of a button. They don't need to wait until a certain time. They also don't need to wait to have textbooks before they get information. So this is the digital information age. So there's a lot of information available. It's not about what information a child can access. It is about the context that the parent can give them. Now, because they were born in that digital age, which is a massive improvement. I've lived in the two ages, and I can say I prefer it now to how boring things were then. And to get anything, you had to go to the library. Now I can just search Google, and ChatGPT is a crutch for a lot of people. Rather than think about it, you just ask ChatGPT to help you out. The consequence of this highly digitalized age, of this information age, is distraction and screen time. And it has been, excessive use, that is, has been linked to all sorts of health issues, right? There's the reduced attention span, and there is issues with children not being able to sleep. There is social isolation, which occurs because people are now interacting, children are now interacting across devices rather than interacting with people. The COVID year did not help with that. We were physically isolated, so we had to rely on technology. But for a child whose only awareness is that digital age, there can be potential problems. All right. Excessive screen use has been linked to poor behavior, has been linked to aggressive behavior, has been linked to mental health challenges, anxiety, depression. That is a challenge that parents of today are dealing with, that you are going to help them and support them to overcome. Because you can't remove the person from the age. You have to look at the circumstances and survive in spite of those challenges. And that's our number one challenge. Number two is mental health awareness. Again, if I think back to when I was young, nobody was aware enough to say, oh, if a person was a little bit withdrawn, they might be depressed. The understanding was, if it was a child, they're probably just being rude and being disrespectful. I remember days when my mom would send me to my room. I already wanted to stay in the room, but because I wasn't interacting in public, she would then send me to my room. And I was going through all sorts of changes growing up, right? And maybe there was a bit of depression. Maybe I was just anxious. My body was changed. I didn't understand what was going on with me. But she didn't understand it either. That time, there was no awareness. But now, there is a lot of awareness about mental health issues, and that is a good thing. That is a good thing. However, it comes with the attaching or unintended consequence of confusion for some parents. Children are presenting with anxiety, they're presenting with depression, they're having social anxiety. We're seeing more and more teenagers say things like, I don't want to step outside the house. I don't like talking to people. I don't want to be in a group setting. I don't mind one-to-one. In fact, if you need to talk to me, do it over a computer. I don't like interacting with people. Parents don't know how to deal with this. They are confused. They don't know if they should take it seriously, or if they should dismiss it, or they should get treatment and support for it. Teen suicide is through the roof. Social media is not helping. All right. A lot of young people are confused about things that were straight and narrow in the past, and they need your support. They need your help to navigate those waters. So mental health awareness is a clear and present issue that parents are dealing with. Number three, work-life integration. In the past, again, if one parent had to look after the home, the other parent working was enough to cater to the needs of the family. All right. Whatever it is they brought home, things were affordable. These days, you're having two-parent households where both parents are having to work. In some cases, you're having a single-parent household where they need to work to support their families. right? And that is the responsible thing to do. So integrating work, life requirements, parenting requirements, being fully present at home and at work is overwhelming for a lot of parents. Systems intelligence is not something that is readily taught. People don't understand systems and structure. Take the example of quantity over quality when we talk about time. Okay, some parents think when you say spend time with your children, it is be at home with them all day. No, rather, it is ensuring that if you have blocked out 1 hour with that child, it is maximizing that interaction, maximizing that window, ensuring that the conversations you are having are productive, ensuring that you are checking yourself, your emotional state is in the right frame to get the most out of that interaction. It's not about spending 24 hours continuously with the child. So parents are overwhelmed. They need to work. They also need to parent. This is the modern age. Another reason why parenting coaches are needed. And finally, scripting a child for success. Scripting a child for success. Remember earlier when we talked about what the ultimate parent is supposed to do? We talked about the fact that the child should, at the following the process of discovery and development, the child should then be deployed in the direction of the problem that they were born to solve. Until that is done, then that whole parenting process is not complete. Now, parents need to be supported to know how to script their child for success, bearing in mind that success for each child will look different because everybody's journey is unique. We find that parents are struggling with creating a template to help their child succeed at different stages, ensuring that the child becomes all that they have the potential of becoming. So we've looked through the four things, the four major issues that parents are going through, the four modern parenting challenges that parents are going through today that you will be stepping in to support them with. The African proverb says it takes a village to raise a child. That lends credence to the idea of community parenting, where there are several people looking into the well-being of the child. The structures, the society itself is supporting the child to become all that they have the potential to become. And that takes us to why parenting coaches are becoming highly sought after. I mean, those problems tell us that it is a complicated journey. And, particularly that work-life balance. So you're telling a parent, oh, they need to be available to support their child through mental health challenges. And the parent is looking at you like, and where am I supposed to find the time? How am I supposed to organize everything around all of these things that you've said I need to do? They need the coach. They need somebody to hold their hand, have those important conversations, create those structures. All right. Look at the child, look at the family's unique situation and create templates. Work with them, narrow the problem, label it, give it what it is, give it the title it is, and then create solutions that can ensure that that wholesome child emerges at the end of the day. Slide 4. I've got you. Scripting a child for success. Scripting a child for success. Okay, I hope you have that now. Fantastic. So, digital literacy strategy that addresses problem number 1. When parenting coaches are on hand, they can provide guidance on setting healthy boundaries. Remember, we said it's that excessive access that causes problems because the internet is good, right? The digital world is good. It is useful. We have information, we have entertainment. People are making loads and loads of money off social media these days, all right? But because that child is developing, because the children are still coming into an awareness of themselves, there needs to be healthy boundaries. There needs to be digital literacy. Before you put a device in the hand of a child and you send them off into the dark, dark world of social media, you need to ensure that there's digital literacy in place. Do they know what to expect? Do they know who to come to? Should they come across something that is unexpected or inappropriate? Okay. And parenting coaches can support the parents and the family to create that balanced approach to using technology. Because, like I said, that is the age we're living. There's no escaping it. Okay, we're having this conversation now. I'm in the UK, you are all over the world, right? Because of technology. So that in itself is a good thing. It is the use that needs to be regulated. So for you as a parenting coach, you can support parents with a digital literacy strategy. Next, you can create customized parenting strategies. I spoke about this earlier. Recognizing the uniqueness of every child and every family and every situation, right? Some one parent household, some two parents, some one committed parent, the other is dipping in, right? Some grandparent household. You can support parents to create that strategy that would be unique to them, recognizing that having a one-size-fits-all approach doesn't always work because that doesn't take the uniqueness of each individual into account, doesn't take the destination or the journey into account. We're all not working towards the same thing. I hope you're aware of that. Some people are going to raise exceptional children who are going to change the world. Some people are not chasing that, and that's fine. That's fine. Somebody is going to raise the next, say, Isaac Newton. Somebody is going to raise the next, say, Mother Teresa. The journeys are not the same. Okay, so it's important to recognize that, look, if your child is aiming to be kind of like an Elon Musk, the journey is going to be unique. The personality of that child is unique to that journey. Okay, so the family, the strategy for that family needs to be different. Okay. Alexander the Great had a customized strategy. You may want to research that. What was the strategy that created that 19-year-old who ruled the Greece and Persia, I believe? All right, you fact check that and let me know. Okay, so parenting coaches can offer personalized guidance tailored to the specific needs and values and dynamics of each family. Number 3, the parenting coach plays a huge role in strengthening family relationships. I worked with a family recently that had been fractured, right? So the parents had gone their separate ways and they were in the process of sorting out custody. And then the children picked up on it. Now, there had been an issue between one of the children and one of the parents, right? And because the parents were now separating, the child then used it as an opportunity to pitch their tent against the other parent. So it was a messy situation. There was hurt all around. The child was hurt as well because the child came to the table saying, look, they had done this to me, they had done that to me. So there was crisis, there were problems. But when they came to me, the question was, what do we want? What do we want out of all of this? Because a coaching relationship needs to have a clear destination. That's how you can identify that you have arrived, isn't it? So what do we want? Okay, somebody wanted peace. Another person wanted healing. Another person wanted an apology. So I worked with each of them individually, and then we were able to bring them together by enhancing communication, because that was one of the problems. They were not talking to each other. One person would say something, the other person would misinterpret it, and it had gone on for so long. But we were able to bring everybody back together. The marriage, I'm not saying that the marriage came back together, but at least there was some kind of cohesion. They were able to clarify different positions. So it was a bit of a mediation as well as coaching, supporting that family, bringing them back together, resolving the conflicts, ensuring that they had deeper connections. Now, the child is now firmly connected to both parents, helping the child realize that, look, they may have made mistakes, but at the end of the day, they wanted the best for you. And that is accurate in that situation. It might not be accurate in another situation, but that was what I saw. That was what the parents verbalized. Like, look, we're just worried about this child. We just want this child back in connection with us. So the parenting coach can help to strengthen family relationships, again, by creating that unique template. That family now needed something that did not exist. The family I just referenced, I didn't have that template before because that situation was unique to them. So I had to create something afresh, something new to support them in the way that I was able to. Finally, the parenting coach can empower the parents with confidence. Now, when there have been issues, or maybe the parents, let's use this example, perhaps a parent has had a challenging upbringing, okay? So their own personal, individual self-esteem has been tampered with. In some cases, they feel unsure of themselves. And a child can be like a shark that smells blood in the water. If you don't approach conversations with a certain level of confidence, and I'm not talking about rashness or brashness, it's just that confidence to say, look, I know that this is what is best for you, and I believe that this is what we need to do. Sometimes that is where you need to come in as a parenting coach to just, reinforce that conviction in that parent to say, you've got this, go ahead. If you feel that is what is right, then that is what is right. Right? Remembering that a child needs guidance. We talk about parents having conversations and negotiations with their children at certain ages. But the truth is, the child's safety is dependent on those boundaries. Their sense of safety is dependent on those boundaries that you're able to create. So even though they may quarrel with it, it still communicates safety and care to them. Okay? And then when you look at the volume of parenting information that is out there. Now, take social media, for instance. TikTok is my favorite example of a bottomless pit of information. Everybody has an opinion about something. And they say it with so much audacity. It's funny. And they say that thing about it's people who have the loudest voice that get heard, right? So there's a lot of information out there. For you as a parenting coach, you can help them narrow that down, right? Help them distill what makes sense, what does not, what is evidence-based, what is emotions-based. Right? What is just, wishful thinking? What is cultural? That's another big issue. What is cultural and what is actually reasonable? What is expected behavior? What is a function of behavior? What you should actually be worried about. I read on Twitter the other day about a gentleman who talked about his 3-year-old trying on lipstick. And I know this can be polarizing. We all feel differently about different things, but I'm going to tell you my own opinion about the 3-year-old putting on lipstick. And he said he beat the living daylight out of this child. And I read that tweet and I just shook my head like, if only he knew. A 3-year-old would be curious. Their curiosity is normal. And then people went on to explain different aspects to him, saying that children mirror behavior. And if you spend time with that child, the child will be trying to wear your shoes. The fact that the child is trying lipstick is because they are spending a lot of time with the mother. And I hope that drove the point home for that man who just went on and on about he's not going to allow the child become this or that on his watch. For you as the parenting coach, they bring that kind of query to you. You can help them understand and explain what I just explained. That is just expected behavior. The child is not being curious. It has not. It is not even. It is not part of the child yet. It is what you do from that point on that determines how that child then proceeds from there. So let's take a break here and just look at these people on the screen. You have Joseph Stalin, you have Adolf Hitler, you have Idi Amin Dada, Kim Jong-un, and that's Osama bin Laden. And the question to us is, what parenting system would we say engineered these people? And if their parents had access to you, do you think that they would have come out the way they did? So I want to see messages in the chat. If you want to unmute your mic, that's also fine. Yes, he beat the child because the male child was putting on the mom's lipstick. It was sad. If it wasn't so sad, it'd be funny. All right, so what do we think? If the parents of these individuals on your screen had access to you, would they have turned out differently? Or would it have been business as usual? What do we think? If the parents had access to you as a parenting coach, different, okay. All right, perhaps Adolf Hitler would not have done what he did, that the world is still reeling from years and years after. They would have turned out different. I like the sound of that. That tells me you're confident, different, beautiful, beautiful, different. Might have turned out softer, yeah? Yeah, you would have tried your best. Fantastic. I love that. You would have tried your best. That's amazing. And that is what it should be. That is what it should be. Now, another set of people, Winston Churchill, Mr. Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Nelson Mandela, and Bill Gates. The question for us to interrogate here is, what family system do you think engineered these people? And how would you feel if their successes were attributed to your parenting coaching support? So the contemporary here, or the youngest person here, is Mark Zuckerberg, right? So if his parents could say, I'm so glad, let's find somebody. I'm so glad I came in contact with Oluwaseun. Because of Coach Oluwaseun's support, I was able to raise Mark to be what he is today. The man is an enigma, isn't he? With what he's been able to do, starting with just one small platform, an idea he had at Harvard, and then it has just gone ballistic, right? Good examples. Fulfilled as a parenting coach, it will be a thing of pride, and you would tell people, right? I supported that guy, even if it was a 6-week period, right? I supported him. I was his coach. Yeah, it would be your quote unquote claim to fame, and you will not be small either. Okay, it would be a thing of pride, and you would feel on top of the world, and that is our motivation for what we do. That is our motivation for what we do as parenting coaches. Because, like I used the example of cancer earlier, the potential for cancer does not look like that from the beginning. But when that discovery journey and that development journey, when they are done well, then that outcome is possible. And we have no idea. It's like trying to imagine the quantity of a forest in a seed. It's just a waste of time. All you can say is it will be a lot. It will be a lot. The moment you put a seed in the ground, you have no idea. And that is why we do what we do. So let's define coaching real quick. Thank you, everybody who engaged with that. The ICF, that's the International Coaching Federation, defines coaching as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. The process of coaching often unlocks previously untapped sources of imagination, productivity, and leadership. That is the definition of coaching. It's a thought-provoking and creative process, okay, that inspires your coachees to maximize their personal and professional potential. And it speaks to unlocking previously untapped sources of imagination and creativity and productivity and leadership. So we define parenting coaching, therefore, as partnering with parents in a thought-provoking and creative process using cutting-edge methodology that inspires them to maximize their parenting potential, right? And by so doing, that partnership is potentially able to create a world that is safe for all. Okay, so what is our coaching process? How do we expect you to work through that journey, that coaching relationship with the parents that you're going to work with, the first step is to create rapport. So you want to develop that interaction and put them at ease. So an example would be asking them, say they've come to the coaching meeting or you're doing it online, how are they doing? Doing a quick check-in, creating that rapport. And then you go ahead to administer assessments. We don't do assumptions here. Okay, we do a data-driven assessment that helps you identify and understand the root cause. So it's not you hearing their own opinion, right? Them looking through at the situation through their own lenses. It's not just based off of that. We expect that you administer an assessment and it helps you have an objective view of the situation. Okay, then you go ahead to review the report. All right. So when you've administered the assessment, you create a report. Okay. You review that report with them and then you establish mutually agreed upon goals and objectives. Remember, I said your coaching relationship needs to have a destination, needs to have an intention at the end of the day. That's when you can say, right, we have now arrived. Okay, if you set out on a trip and you don't decide on a destination, you would drive for a long time and you probably stop when you are tired or sleepy or whatever, but you need to agree on that goal and that objective. Okay, then you go ahead to establish and develop an implementation plan, as well as a framework that can deliver that outcome that you have desired. Okay, so you create the rapport, you develop that relationship, you nurture it, then you administer the assessment. Okay, your creating rapport process might be a clarity call. Okay, you could do a 15-minute call just to get a sense of what's going on and establish that relationship. In that clarity or chemistry call, some coaches call it a chemistry call, it might be opportunity to see if you are the person they need. So they will give you an overview of what's going on and you can decide, okay, I can support you through this. They can also ask questions. Okay, so that might be how you approach that creating rapport part of the process. Then you go through your assessment. It's a written assessment. They answer questions, you create a report, then you meet again to discuss that report and then agree on those goals and objectives. And then you go ahead to create a structured implementation plan that you're going to follow line upon line, precept upon precept, obviously geared towards that goal or outcome that you have decided. So question for us to think about, don't answer this one. This is a bit of a rhetorical question. Do you have a professional framework that you use? So I've had a few people in the chat say they're teachers, and somebody said they were a coach. Do you have a professional framework, or do you just go with the flow and you base it off of experience, what you've seen before somewhere that usually points to certain things? All right, that's just a nice way of saying, do you support people with your biases? Because you're human, you would always have biases, and that's where using that professional framework comes into play, because it takes your emotion out of the equation. You're looking at it objectively and you are analyzing the problem using data. Okay, so if you don't have a professional framework, you're more likely to be using native intelligence or using an obsolete model that does not work. Okay, cognitive behavioral therapy, yes, an assessment, you will find out what that assessment looks like. Okay, even with cognitive behavioral therapy, you still need a framework. Okay, otherwise you would use those skills and you will use those strategies in a way that might not serve the specific outcome that you want. Okay, so the family systems engineering parenting coaching framework, that is what we're going to be teaching you in the course, is a 12-week class. All right, so it's a 12-week class where you will learn the fundamentals of modern parenting. You will learn how to run effective assessments to accurately diagnose cases. You will learn how to create a fail-proof intervention that would help the parents that you're working with succeed. You will learn how to run therapy and strategies that would help you win in sabotaging situations. And ultimately, you will join a supporting community that would help you earn as a professional. Somebody talked about earning earlier. Okay, it would help you earn as a professional. Okay, so that is the family systems engineering parenting coaching framework that this course exposes you to. We've looked at the 4 challenges. We've talked about the 4 ways you as a parenting coach can come in, and this is the tool that will deliver that outcome to you. All right, I'm trying to look at the chat. Yes, we will get there. We will get there. You're asking about the course. We will be there shortly. So what are some of the things that you're going to explore? What are some of the things that you're going to explore? You would have the coaching framework for parenting, parental origin and instincts. You would also take a class in foundations for inner child healing and healing past wounds. You will take a class in effective communication and emotional management. You will take a class in personality identification and behavioral management. You will take a class in technology use, discipline, and time management. You will also take a class in co-parenting dynamics, stress management, and long-term strategies. You would also look at, because you have to earn, the business of parenting coaching. And finally, you will learn how to create an intervention plan using reframing techniques and boundary management. I think it was Coach Doreen who said earlier at the beginning that you get a whole lot more than you pay for. And I can promise you it's a trademark of IFED. You would go through the course and you'll be like, wait, I got all that for so little. That is how we work. Okay, that is how these programs are structured. You get a whole lot more than the investment or the funds that you have put into it. Okay, so what is that model? Just to break it down into a flow chart for us: comprehensive assessments to diagnose the issues, review the report in a clarity session, ensure that you understand any challenges. If they have any questions, that's your client, you can address it in that session. And then you create that parenting compass assessment results coaching sessions. So it's those 3 steps that you will go through: the assessment, you do a review, and then you create that solution for them, and you deliver those results or those solutions in coaching sessions. Okay, data has consistently shown that at the root of many parenting issues are unhealed trauma, ignorance of behavioral management of both parent and child, ignorance of personalities and attachment styles, and ignorance of parenting patterns. Okay, and this is often powered by beliefs and culture and all other issues that we talked about earlier that come together to form us. But like we said, until you break that cycle, it will continue to repeat itself. So what is our goal with this program? What is our goal? Is to produce the most competent family life professionals humanity deserves and to support them to be highly profitable across the globe. That is why we do what we do. Okay, so what are the requirements? If you decide, and I expect you to go on this course, we expect that you attend at least 60% of the classes. We expect that you submit the compulsory home place. All right. Once you have done those 2, you would graduate as an associate coach. Coach Doreen and Pastor B have gone through this process. That's why they've described themselves as associate coaches. Now, if you want to become a certified parenting coach, you want to go ahead and then fulfill your conditions for certification, you need to appear for defense. You would have a presentation before master coaches, and then you would defend the work that you've done. Once you've put in those conditions, you've put them in a nice portfolio, you will then defend it before a panel, and then you will be awarded the title of certified parenting coach. Finally, the parenting coach is the bridge between parents and the tools they need to guide their children through the challenges of family life with confidence and connection. That is who the parenting coach is, a bridge. Okay? You have the tools. The parents have the problem. Then you bring them together. And ultimately, you'll be able to support them to guide their children through the challenges of family life. And they'll be able to do it with confidence and connection. So, who are the people that we expect you to be working with? As a parenting coach, as an associate parenting coach, or as a certified parenting coach. Everywhere that families exist, you have work there. Okay, we've talked about profitability earlier. You have work there. You also have an advantage to deliver to government agencies. So in the UK, we have the Department for Children and Families. That is a department that you would function closely with because they're constantly looking for solutions. All right. They're trying things. The challenges are evolving. The behavior patterns are evolving. They need fresh ideas. And that is where you come in. Additionally, religious organizations, and Pastor B talked about this earlier, in her church, she has taken the gospel out there. Okay. She's flying high with the group she's running with the women in her church, and then her husband is running with the men in the church. So in religious organizations where we find that culture and beliefs tend to have a very firm stronghold, you need to show up there to tell them the science, to teach them the methods, give them the tools to ensure that the children that are in those spaces are preserved and the purpose for which they have been born can actually truly manifest. Okay, my encouragement to you, therefore, is for you to sign up today to become a highly paid parenting coach and strategist. The classes start this September, okay? And like we said, it's for 12 weeks. Every week you will have a session. You will have master coaches supporting you all through that journey. And once you've attended 60% of those classes and you have done the compulsory home plays, then you can become an associate parenting coach. That is my encouragement to you. So we're going to talk about the offers. I've had a few questions about that. We're there already. So what you have on your screen is the pricing. Okay, so you would have naira. In some cases you would have the dollar equivalent. If you're outside of Nigeria, the dollars would apply to you. For those of us in Nigeria, then you should be looking at the naira cost. Now, the value of the class itself is 350,000 naira. The equivalent of that is $227.5. Okay, if you make a one-time payment, you can pay 300,000 naira. Okay, equivalent is $195. If you want to pay in installments, there's a bit of a markup there, and the total will come to 330,000 naira, $214.5. Okay, now because you are here in this time and space at this point, we would allow you pay a deposit, okay, of 100,000 naira to lock in your space. Okay, so rather than pay the entire sum of 300,000 naira, you can pay a deposit of 100,000 naira, and that is an equivalent of $65. Deposit that today and you can lock in that discounted offer. Do we understand me? Any questions? Let me go to the chat. Okay, thank you, admin. Fabulous. We have a signee already. Amazing, amazing. Beautiful. The classes are in person. The classes start on the 24th of September. Any other questions? Online. The classes are online. By home plays, I mean, so the idea is for you not to think homework and go, oh my gosh, I have to do that again. We call them home plays so that you approach them with enthusiasm. All right. And you're not bogged down by the idea of homework. Oh, that's another thing I need to complete. Oh, that's going to stress me out. It's home play because you're going to enjoy it. It's home play because it's going to help you to reinforce that learning. Okay. So we have a question. Is the certificate internationally recognized? Yes, because we have had participants who have used it as an additional documentation towards getting other certificates. All right. So I know somebody who used the transcripts of what they learned here, included it in their application for a postgraduate degree. Okay, so it is recognized. The International Coaching Federation that we reference, however, you will need to get their own accreditation in addition if you want to be ICF accredited. Okay, so yes, you can include it as part of the documentation to take additional courses, postgraduate courses around the world. Okay. So the 100,000 naira is the deposit, and then you will need to pay the balance pay in full by August 27th. Okay, the total cost for you being here is 300,000 naira. Somebody asked a question about Rand. All right, so you have a link there for you to confirm what it would be. Parenting coaching is not under ICF. No, it is not. ICF is International Coaching Federation. It's not affiliated to any specific field of coaching. Okay. In dollars, that would be $195. Monetization, is there a way the institute helps to get clients at the beginning while trying to build a portfolio? How about you register for the course? How about you register for the course? And then we will see. Coach Ayoluwa talked about having attended this class, and now she's hosting the webinar. So maybe she can tell you more about how the institute can help you. Okay, so we will need to see that commitment first, because obviously it's people's lives that we're talking about. Okay, so we will need to see your commitment, see your investment into the field of work. All right, and then we know how to look after ourselves. I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, in the community, we look after ourselves. All right, I hope that answers your question. So who is joining us? If you're joining us in September, can you put I in the chat? If you're signing up and you're joining us in class, fantastic. Mommy Shark, it will be lovely to meet you. Yes, yes. How do you start the coaching procedure? That's what you're going to learn. That's what you're going to learn. You're going to have everything you need. I can promise you that. Everything you need to start your coaching practice. Okay. Oh, lovely, lovely. Sakinat, I can't wait to meet you. Oluwaseun Rahel, I can't wait to meet you. Quinta, Adirogba, I can't wait to meet you. iPhone, there you go. There you go. I've just called you iPhone because you didn't put your name on there. Christine, it will be lovely to meet you. It will be lovely to meet you. Admin, we have a question about Cameroon. Can we post the link, please? The link to pay from another country. Thank you very much. So these are the contact details you have on the screen. If you want to learn more, okay, you want to learn more about the program, you want to learn about IFED, the institute itself, that's the website, there's an Instagram page, that's the email, and you have a WhatsApp enabled phone number. All right. There's something about, hang on a second, ministry to children. How will it be useful to someone who is not a parent? Oh my goodness. There was a gentleman that we had in class at the last cohort. He was a Sunday school teacher, and he handled young children, I think young preteens. I think if I remember correctly, I think he handled preteens, and his experience was just and the kind of ideas that he was dropping in class, talking about the things that he's going to do, how he's going to influence the church and what they would do with the children. It just opens your mind, okay? It opens your mind as somebody that is responsible for children. Blessing, it is just a lot. It's everything. Okay, the fact that it helps you as an individual look at your own inner child, okay, that in itself, that trauma healing process is beneficial to children that come in contact with you. All right, and then going on to learn about behavior, going on to learn about discipline strategies, going on. I talk about when people have opportunities to learn things, and this is something I say to people that I teach when I facilitate sessions. You're not learning just for yourself. You might be surprised that because you have attended this, somebody somewhere will call you in the next couple of days and say, I have this problem. What can you tell me? How can you help me? And you'll be like, wow. Wow, because the universe is connected, okay? And because you have this knowledge, you have become a vessel. Okay, you have become a vessel. The parents might come in contact with you and ask some of the questions about things that you will learn in this course, and you will just have the right word to speak to them. So think about it. All right, think about it, Blessing. It will be lovely to have you in class. All right, it's 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. 7 p.m. West African time. Managing clients from other faiths. It is not faith-based. It is not faith-based. The principles are, they are across the board. And one of our coaches, Coach Amina, is of the Islamic faith. All right. So it's not faith-based at all. I'm a Christian. She practices Islam. They don't counter each other. Okay. It's humanity. Here we support humanity. We see people as people. All right. And I believe that the God is love. All right. So if we approach work like this in the family life space with love, then it has the person's faith is of no consequence. They are people and they're important to God. Therefore, they're important to us. Okay. I would love to see you in class, Balkis. All right. It runs for 12 weeks, Kate. It runs for 12 weeks. I hear you. But I believe also, Blessing, that the people that need you will not mind that you're not a parent. If you went to the hospital and you took your child to the hospital and the person is a pediatrician, your concern at that point in time will not be, oh, I hope you've got children. It will be, do you have the skills to help me? All right. So it is your skill that would matter in those instances. It will be your capacity to deliver that will matter in those instances. So yeah, if they're not your clients, then they would have problems with you not being a parent. But if they are, they would need your help and they would welcome it. All right. Beautiful. Please keep the questions coming. Please keep the questions coming. There were 78 of us here. So are we saying only, how many eyes did I count? Maybe 20 will be joining us in September. There has to be more. There has to be more. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Adeomi, I'm not sure. I can't answer that question at this point in time. When the next one after September will be. All right. There are only so few that happen a year. I don't even think there'll be any. Admin, would there be any other cohort this year after September? I doubt that. 2026. There you go. It will not be until 2026. So this is your opportunity. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in class. And like I said to you at the beginning, I firmly believe that the future is in secure hands because you are here. All right? Because you are here. Thank you so much for attending today. The recording is on Chris Fowe's YouTube page, I believe. All right, that's fine. If you want to contact the office so that you can perhaps do a payment plan, maybe just have a conversation. Techno. Apologies for calling you Techno, but you see that I have no choice because your name is not on the screen. Okay, apologies. All right. So please contact the office and have a conversation. Okay, it might just help. That structure might just help your planning. And I believe Comfort, I apologize, but change your name. Okay, Comfort. I believe that when there is a need, it pulls resources. So if you make a decision that you're going to attend, the resources will show up. All right. It's a law of attraction. Okay. Those are the numbers for the admin. I'm going to hand over back to our coach. Oh, you're very welcome, Uju. Thank you so much. It's very kind. Thank you. I'm going to hand over back to Coach Ayolua to take it away. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of the evening.
Yeah, Coach Desola, like I said, I enjoyed listening to you. Thank you for this wonderful session. And to everyone that has attended this session, everything you have heard is not to cajole you. No, that is exactly what you will experience. I am testifying to that. I've attended this webinar. I have registered for the course. I have gone through the course, and I can tell you, I now run a community, yes, on a Facebook. Within the time I attended the coaching, I've been able to author 3 books on parenting. Yes, I've been able to. You will live with confidence. Yes. And you're not going to graduate from IFED because I haven't graduated. I'm still in IFED, my project and all that. So everything you have heard here is the truth. So we are expecting you all in class. And trust me, just like we just said, the world is waiting for you. The world is just waiting for you. And you have all that it takes to make the change that the world is expecting. Thank you all for joining us on this call. We look forward to having you in class. Coach Desola, thank you. Good to listen to you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Coach Ayo. Bye, everybody.
Bye. See you in class.
My name is Paulina Ashipala. I'm from Namibia, and I'm an associate parenting coach. I just finished my certification last month, as well as I'm also an alumni of the institution I've had. I'm quite really happy of the experience that I have gotten through this program, and I've gotten to know more that I didn't know before as a parent. I would also like really to acknowledge the institution for empowering parents as well as the aspiring parenting coaches that are equipping them with a rightful knowledge and skills, well-researched, evidence-based, and it has really made an impactful in the parent's life. I like the fact it also really offers the practical tools and also the techniques that parents can deploy, or the parenting coaches can deploy in assisting parents to overcome challenges they are experiencing in their lives. What really stood out for me was I was able to manage and also regulate emotions, something that I didn't really quite, was not really quite sure of, well informed of. Often we see emotions as, toxic, but in parenting, we should embrace emotions as, because they are the message of the heart. So we should not, we should validate them, we should acknowledge them, and not really to minimize them. And the second also thing, what was really stood out for me, was the ability to understand children behaviors as well as the personalities. These are the things that often we are caught up in our children having behavioral issues, but since now we are able to predict even behaviors based on their personalities. And I really also took heads off to the institution that it came up with better, nice tools that you can use to assess and diagnose our clients or the parents' personalities, and it can just guide better to understand what behaviors are we expecting from our children. And as I've also become an expert in this field, I would like just to lecture a little bit to the fellow parents who are here, that every behavior that we are seeing in children, maybe behavioral challenge or behavior issues that we are seeing in our children, it is as a result, or it's the unmet or unsatisfied need, maybe for attention, safety, autonomy, or limits. So parents who are here who really would like to transform life, you have made a good decision so that you can empower yourself and also empower other parents. Thank you.
My name is Ayoluwa Adedeji. I am an associate parenting coach. My expectations before joining IFED, why I didn't, but I knew that I did a lot. So my expectation was not cut short. Saying that IFED exceeded my expectation is an understatement. My experience in class was awesome. I mean, with the host of Coach Miracle, Coach Amina, Coach Desola, Coach Adigwe, or PF himself. From the first module to the last module, it was interesting. IFED has capable hands. What stood out for me, my strength, I call it my weapon, is the parenting diagnostic assessment toolkit. Wow. It's an eye-opener. It's really insightful, and I'm grateful that I was part of the last cohort. It was really a game changer for me, even as a parent, not only as a parenting coach. A lot of things that I've been doing wrongly, that I now know how best to do it. So,
just like you said at the beginning, it's been quite hectic, but it's also been enlightening. I particularly enjoyed the healing for the inner child session, and then I liked some of those classes where we had to do case studies as well, where we had to do a role play. I had a good partner that I could relate with. A wholesome experience, and I am so grateful for it.